Welcome to Real World SEO, how people search, shop, and buy online. My name is DJ Sprague, and I'm excited to present this material to you today. Hopefully it's extremely enlightening and helpful. So we're going to start out with what I call thinking like Google. The first thing we need to understand is what it is that Google really wants from content, from websites. And at the end of the day, they really want you to be able to answer the questions that your target audience has. They want you to be able to solve their problems and answer their questions. Again, Google is a search engine. It's a question and answer engine. And what people are traditionally doing on Google is asking questions and looking for solutions. Ahrefs says that potential customers don't search for your products directly, but for questions they want answered. So your goal is to figure out what these questions are and create content that matches them. This aligns very well with what Google's looking for. And I think we've all pretty much figured out that we have to be very diligent at understanding what our core or target audience's questions are and providing the best possible answers to those questions and solving those problems. So this is an example of a website that I managed for many years. I started in June with this website on the green line there. And as you can see, every year over year, the unique site visitor traffic increased. In fact, in a 4-year period, we increased it by 27x. Why? Because we really understood and developed what the questions were that the target audience had. In fact, we identified 4 separate personas. And we identified that each of those personas had a different set of questions and a different set of problems that they're trying to resolve. So by creating different blogs specifically for each of those personas, we were able to better address their questions and better solve their problems. The result, of course, was a 27x increase in unique visitors, which was tremendous. Conversion is identifying what type of company your visitor wants, ideally, and would love to do business with, and then becoming that company. This is a quote by Dr. Carl Blanks in his book, Making Websites Win. This is a great book. I recommend you read it. So again, find out what kind of company and what kind of website that your core audience wants, and then become that company. And this is what happened when we did that. We found that our core audience was looking for bigger solutions to bigger problems. So when we found a way to provide solutions to bigger problems, we increased revenue by 7.5x, from 7 million ARR to 53 million ARR, where the transactions only increased by 1.85x, or barely 2x. So we did not necessarily increase the number of transactions that much, but what we did was increase the size of those transactions, the cart size or the ARR per transaction. Why? Because we found a better solution to the bigger problems. So it's less of a volume play and more of a how do we solve our core audience's problems. We did that by listening to the core audience and finding out what their questions were, what their needs were, what their problems were, and then finding better solutions to those. And that's a great way to grow your business without necessarily having to arithmetically grow your transaction size. So now let's look at what the Google algorithms have been really trying to solve for, really dating back to Panda in 2011. That was a big update. That's where we found a lot of websites really kind of falling out of favor in the search engine results because they had poor quality content, thin content, inaccurate content, poorly written content, content that wasn't really addressing a problem or a question. And ever since Panda in 2011, we've seen the same pattern over and over and over again. Ultimately, what Google is looking for is helpful, useful content that answers the questions that your shoppers have and provides solutions. So I like to call this finding the patterns in the data. Whenever I look at data sets or situations or problems, I like to find the patterns. Statisticians always throw out the highs and the lows, what they call the statistical anomalies. and then look for the clustering in the middle or the patterns. So what you're going to see here is a pattern of finding the patterns in the data. So the first pattern we discover is that ultimately Google wants to create search results from websites and content that has high quality content, that has the best answer to the questions that your shoppers are trying to answer or problems they're trying to resolve. So when we really boil that all down, it looks like content that's written by experts. The content has authority, it's trusted. This is the Google EAT criteria: expertise, authority, and trust. We've probably all heard of that. They want objectivity. They want pros and cons. Think about Wirecutter. Think about the product reviews you find on wirecutter.com. They are very objective, and they point out the pros and cons of the products that they review. Google likes that because the consumer likes that. They really don't like one-sided biased content. They want to know that you've covered both ends of the spectrum, that you're being objective, and you're being honest. They also want to know that your website has a core theme. They don't like websites that are all over the map, just trying to create content for content's sake or content for traffic's sake, but they want to know that you have a core theme and that your website is an expert in that core theme. They want quality content. They want you to cite and source your quotes and your data. They want original content where possible, and of course, helpful content and an author bio that says whoever's writing this article or this blog is an expert in this area, or at least they have a right to be talking about it. So these are some of the areas that cover the helpful content update and the September 22 update. But if you really look at the patterns dating back to Panda, you see the same themes, the same patterns. So what's the common theme here? Google wants the best answers to the search questions. Again, Google is a question and answer search engine, and they want to find the best answers to those questions, and that's our job. So what you should do now, use automation to identify the high purchase intent questions that your customers are asking about your brand, your category, and your products throughout the buyer journey. If you can do that, if you can dominate the buyer journey from top to bottom by answering those questions that come into play from the very top of the search to the bottom of the search, then you're going to be seen as an authority, as an expert. You're going to get that organic traffic, and you're going to build that trust, and you're going to increase your conversion rate. So really that's what we're trying to do, is answer those questions and identify those questions through automation throughout the entire buyer journey. Let's show you how we do that. So Shopper Approved created a Q&A tool, partnering with AnswerBase. And what we do is we identify the product category and product specific questions being asked from the customers that are being asked on your website, from the search engines that are being asked in People Also Ask, and from competitor sites. So the very questions that your customers and prospects are asking on competitor sites about your products and your categories, our tool can scrape that, as well as what's being asked in the search engines, as well as what's being asked on your website, and then bringing all that data together to say, here's the questions that you need to answer, because these are the questions that people have throughout the buyer journey. And if you can answer those questions in a high quality, honest, objective way, that's going to give them the best answer to that question, then you're going to win the organic search positions. Another great way to do that is use Answer the Public. Answer the Public is a tool that also scrapes People Also Ask, and is basically looking at all the varieties and all the variations of the questions that people are asking on Google, and then bringing those into one report. So what I've done is I take those Answer the Public questions, I download those into a spreadsheet, and then I run that against SEMrush, and I find the search volume, the cost per click estimates, and the ranking difficulty, and that then allows me to prioritize the questions and answers that I want to deal with first. Now, I don't really necessarily care about just the volume. I want to also know, is this a question that my customers are actually asking about my category, my company, or my products? Because if they're not actually asking those questions about my company, category, or products, and it's a very broad or general question, it may not be a top priority. Why? Because that's going to be a top funnel search query. And I want to start by monetizing the bottom of the funnel search queries where I can monetize that traffic faster and then move backwards up the funnel. So starting at the bottom of the funnel, moving to mid funnel, and then top funnel. Most people start with the top of the funnel because that's where the traffic is, but that's also the most competitive content. And that's where we see people basically saying SEO doesn't work. Why? Because they're getting traffic, but not conversion. So think about the funnel in reverse, start at the bottom, then mid, and then top, versus the way people traditionally do it, which is top, middle, bottom. A couple of years ago, Google came out with a report, a research study called Decoding Decisions, the Messy Middle. And this is really a research study on how to drive high converting traffic. They did 310,000 model search results to find what people are actually looking for and what's actually driving conversions once they hit that site. So over here on the left, we see what we call the 5 search modifiers, how to get found in search. So these are the 5 search modifiers that Google identified. 1 is ideas, 2 is best, 3 is difference between, 4 is reviews, and 5 is discounts. So people might say ideas for birthday presents for a 7-year-old boy, or what's the best Tonka truck, or what's the difference between A and B? What are the reviews for? It might be the seller or the merchant or website. It might be the reviews for the product itself. And then of course, discounts, price, etc. Now, impact marketing, you may have heard of Marcus Sheridan. Marcus Sheridan wrote the book, They Ask, You Answer. He created a concept called TAIA. He has merged and created the agency Impact. And he has identified through thousands of studies what he calls the big 5 search questions. As you can see here, number 1 is cost or price, 2 is problems, 3 is comparisons, 4 is reviews, and 5 is best in class. Now, again, looking at the patterns in the data, you can map 4 out of 5 of the search modifiers that Google identified as the search terms that you must have to get found online with the 5 search modifiers that Impact has identified. So we have this tremendous match here. The only difference between the two is Google says ideas is one of their modifiers, and the big 5 says problems with. Either way, you address all of those and you're covered. So now we're going to look at conversion drivers for conversion rate optimization and the cognitive biases and behavioral science research. This is where it gets fun on the website and what people are looking for to find trust and credibility on your site once they get there. So there are 6 cognitive biases in order of persuasion impact on purchase behavior that Google identified in their study. And number 1, and again, these are in descending order, social proof, ratings and reviews, how many people purchased, and what's the average rating. So the first and foremost thing you must have in terms of having one of those cognitive biases that's going to drive trust and conversion is social proof, ratings and reviews. Number 2, power of free shipping, free upgrade, free warranty, etc. Number 3, category heuristics, which is basically a short description of the specs and features that are important to that product category. So for example, if it's diamonds, we've all heard of the 5 C's, color, cut, clarity, carat. I forgot what the 5th is. But those are the characteristics that are critical for diamond buyers. So if you don't have those category heuristics right next to the product image, above the fold, then you're probably going to lose a lot of traffic and a lot of conversions. You don't want your shoppers searching for the specs and the features that are critical to that product or category. And then 4 is authority bias. They want to know that you're an expert on the topic. And then, of course, power of now, fast results, instant downloads, immediate shipping, etc. Everybody wants immediate gratification. So the quicker we can give them that dopamine hit, that time to value, the better. And then scarcity bias, limited time or availability. So the reason scarcity bias and social proof are orange is because you can see in a minute here that this is another pattern. So many of you have probably heard of Dr. Cialdini, Stanford University professor. He wrote the book Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. This is the #1 book on behavioral psychology and influence. This is, I think, the 3rd edition now that just came out a year or 2 ago. And he is really known as the godfather of behavioral science. And what he found, again, looking at the patterns, is that social proof is critical to have on your website. People want to know that others have bought it, others trust it, others like it. If they don't see social proof, they don't want to be the lone pioneer on the plains, the only person buying this product. People love to buy popular products. People always want to know, what are other people doing, especially people like me, people in my social group, etc. What are they buying? What are they doing? Where are they going? What are they wearing? What are they using, etc. So that social proof is critical to conversion. We want to show numbers. We want to show average ratings. We want to know that not only a lot of people buying it, but a lot of people like it. Followed by scarcity. We attach more value to things that are scarce or only available for a limited time or quantity. We also call that FOMO, or fear of missing out. So FOMO is a very, very powerful motivator, a big part of behavioral science and behavioral psychology. And then reciprocity. He found that when you give something up front and then ask for something in return, you have a higher rate of conversion. So it might be a free white paper, it might be a free gift, it might be free information, whatever it is. That power of reciprocity is very, very powerful in the psychology of persuasion. And then liking. This is a famous statement. People buy from those they know, like, and trust. And that's very, very true. This is why we like recommendations from friends, family, relatives, people we know, people we trust. We like to know the brand. We like to trust the brand. We like familiarity. So that liking perspective is very, very powerful. And then authority, again, expertise. We want to know that the company, the writer, the author, they're experts in the space. They know what they're talking about. I can trust these people. Then we follow this up with a massive meta-analysis done in 2017, which basically brought together over 6,700 studies on conversion rate optimization. And they found these common themes, over 6,700 different studies. These are the top three. So again, a pattern. We see scarcity, highlighting items low in stock, lifted the average volume by 2.9%, social proof, 2.3%, and then urgency, 1.5%. Now, urgency really is a time limit, which is another form of scarcity. So at the end of the day, what we've really got here is scarcity and social proof that the 6,700 different studies found to be the top motivators in conversion. So the pattern in the data here, social proof and scarcity. So real-world SEO, content and SEO efforts should start with providing helpful answers to real customer questions. This is, again, what it's all about. SEM Russ said that content answering a certain question is more engaging and has a higher chance of getting into featured snippets. With this in mind, you should definitely be looking up common questions people are asking on your topic. Here's an example of a featured snippet. This is the big goal, because if you can get your answer to the search query in that featured snippet, statistics show that 43% of the page one clicks go to that featured snippet position, which is obviously the number one clicked position, more than paid ads, more than the standard organic positioning. So getting that featured snippet at the top of the organic search results is very, very persuasive. We also call this pre-persuasion or pre-conversion, because when people see your brand, your answer in that featured snippet, they automatically think you're more trusted, you're more credible, you're more of an expert. They see that if Google is favoring your website and your content and your answer, then you must be the most credible. So having this featured snippet position is extremely powerful, is extremely persuasive, and it creates a lot of trust and pre-conversion. We also find that not only do we get more clicks and more traffic from these featured snippet positions, but we have clients that are converting up to 75% of that traffic once they get to the website. So obviously the click traffic is tremendous and the conversion rate is tremendous. So getting that featured snippet position is extremely beneficial. So ultimately what we want to do is we want to find out what your past customers asked during their buyer journey, and then merge that with what your prospects are searching for. And when you get that confluence, those two components merging together, that's the most valuable content proven to convert. what converted when people came to your site previously and what current people are looking for. Merge those and you get high converting content. So we want to get answers to questions quickly from product information and specifications, product ratings and reviews. People also ask, which is one of the Google search tools, competitive sites, existing FAQ or Q&A pages, and allow new questions to be easily submitted and efficiently answered. Well, we can do that automatically at scale, quickly and easily, which we can do through the Q&A tool. Now you've got a large answer base or a large solution base to what your past customers and what your current customers and future customers will be asking about your category, your company, and your products. Again, winning that featured snippet position, driving that trust, that visibility, that traffic, and those conversions. So the SEO and CRO goal is to monitor customer engagement to reveal the helpful information that converts, then publish that as search optimized Q&A. So here's a little visual graph. I'm a visual person, so hopefully this helps. When we have our Q&A engine on their website, we can then use that to feed or fuel the featured snippets, as well as other organic listings, as well as ads. We actually have clients that have taken top performing questions and answers and turned those into paid ads. So they're getting an ad position and the featured snippet, or the ad position and an organic position. So they're getting two targets. They're getting multiple impressions on page one, and they're really owning the answer to that question, which again drives a lot more credibility and a lot more clicks. We also know that when you combine paid ads with organic listings, the organic listing performs better than the organic listing by itself. So when you combine those and integrate those, you're going to drive more visibility, more trust, more clicks, and more traffic. You can also use those questions and answers as social posts. And then a great SEO tip as well is to take those high-performing questions and answers and turning those into full articles or blog posts. Because when we see that there's a lot of traffic to a specific question and answer and a lot of conversion, a lot of revenue generated from that, it's now beneficial to create a full article to give more information, more depth, cover more aspects to that question and that answer. This orange line here represents a deep link from the Q&A, which is going to be on the product page or the category page or even on the home page, and then deep linking to that full article, giving SEO juice to that article and back to the Q&A. So this is a great way to create a powerful deep linking strategy. It's a great way to create additional page authority and domain authority around the answer to that question by creating an in-depth full article. It could even be a pillar piece around the question to that answer. So here's an example. We did a survey last year, and we asked 600 US adults to tell us what they thought about questions and answers, ratings and reviews, etc. We put together a very in-depth study. So we then took that and turned that into Q&A, which will be going live on our website soon. So we took the answer and turned that into a question. Are shoppers more likely to buy online if the product page has Q&A or FAQ? Answer, 94% of those surveyed said that they are more likely to buy if a product page has a Q&A section. So this is our Q&A, but it's also part of a full article. So we can get kind of that double dip, if you will. So again, that featured snippet position is kind of like your buy box on Amazon. This really does drive that search visibility, that credibility, that pre-conversion, the clicks, the traffic, and the conversions. So anything we can do to make sure that we're getting those featured snippet positions, the better off we're going to be. And fortunately, our Q&A tool is designed to optimize those questions and answers for the featured snippet and top organic positions. So what are the results of publishing helpful Q&A content? Well, results show that up to 35% increase in impressions on Google is realized, 40% higher position in organic searches, and up to 5.5 times higher click-through rate. Overall traffic increases up to 2 times, and average LTV or lifetime value increases up to 2 times as well. So more impressions, more traffic, higher click-through rate, higher conversion rate, and higher lifetime value, all as a result of publishing helpful Q&A content that's search optimized to show up at the top of organic search results and drive that high purchase intent traffic to your website. So how Shopper Approved is addressing both real-world search and conversion. We've put this together. We've merged SEO with CRO and conversion science and behavioral science into what looks a lot like Amazon. You're probably thinking, yeah, it looks like an Amazon product page. Well, it does for a reason. Amazon has obviously done a lot of research and a lot of testing, and they have found that when you have your product reviews and your Q&A and your website security all showing up on the product page, people see that you have a trusted product, you have a trusted website, and you have a trusted transaction. So having your product reviews, with your social proof, with your product Q&A, with your website security seal, all on your product page, it addresses the top questions people have. Do I trust this website? Do I trust this product? And do I trust this transaction? And you've seen the same configuration, or the same design or user experience copied on major websites like Walmart, Best Buy, Home Depot, Lowe's, Target. All the top marketplaces are using the same design and layout because they know it works. In fact, we did a survey and we found that 91% of US adults prefer this layout versus this layout without the product reviews, without Q&A, and without website security. And when we asked them why, they basically said, well, we already know, because now I know I can trust this product. I know that other people have bought it, they've had a positive experience, and I can trust this transaction. So this is what's going to drive a higher conversion rate on the product pages. So what are the action items and takeaways? You want to automatically identify what your customers are asking and converting from. You want to publish that information in a search optimized Q&A format. You want to make sure visitors can easily see that content when they visit your site. And you want to engage visitors and auto-suggest answers from product descriptions, specs, and Q&A. And finally, you want to optimize conversion tracking to efficiently uncover new content opportunities in the future. So I want to thank you and see you at the next SMX event.
Thank you for watching. Click the agenda link at the top of your screen to choose your next session.